I check my baby's crib 5 times a night now, not because I'm a worried new mom, but because I don't trust my mother-in-law anymore. Not after what she did. Your daughter doesn't really look like Daniel, does she? Those words from my mother-in-law Elaine kept playing in my head as I stared at the business card in my shaking hands. Accurate family testing. DNA results. The proof of her betrayal was right there. I had to make a choice. Confront her and maybe force my husband to pick between his wife or his mom, or find a smarter way to expose what she did without breaking my family apart. What happened next changed everything between us forever. I thought my marriage to Daniel was perfect. We'd been together for 6 years, married for 3, and just had our beautiful daughter Lily 7 months ago. My husband was sweet, caring, and everything I ever wanted. The only bad thing in our happy life was his mom, Elaine. From day one, Elaine made it super clear I wasn't good enough for her precious son. Daniel could have had anyone, she would say with that fake smile at family dinners, looking at me like I was dirt. He was quite the catch at Princeton. Her comments were always just sneaky enough that if I said something back, I'd look like the bad guy. I tried everything to make her like me. I learned to cook all Daniel's favorite childhood foods. I listened to her boring stories about her rich friends. I even joined her stupid charity committee. Nothing worked. There was always something I did wrong, according to Queen Elaine. When I got pregnant, I really hoped things would change. Surely she'd be nicer to me because of her grandchild? Nope. Her criticism just got worse. Now all about my parenting. Are you sure you're eating enough vegetables? The baby needs proper nutrition, she'd say while staring at my perfectly healthy lunch. Or, I've been reading that screen time around babies can hurt their brains, as I quickly checked one work email while Lily was sound asleep. I should have known things would get worse, not better. I should have seen the warning signs. The day everything fell apart started like any other day. I was finally getting used to being a mom after going back to my marketing job part-time. I worked from home 3 days a week so I could be with Lily while keeping my career. That Tuesday, Elaine offered to watch Lily for a few hours so I could focus on an important work presentation. Even though we didn't get along, she was good with the baby, and Daniel was so happy to see his mom and wife getting along that I couldn't say no. I was deep in work stuff when my phone buzzed with a text from my neighbor Maya. Hey, just saw your mail leaving with the baby. Everything okay? My heart stopped. Leaving? Elaine was supposed to be watching Lily in the nursery upstairs. I typed back super fast. Did you see where they were going? She put the baby in the car, looked like she was going somewhere. Thought you knew? No, I absolutely did not know. I dropped my phone and ran upstairs to the nursery. Empty. The diaper bag was gone too. I called Elaine right away, my hands shaking so bad I could barely hold the phone. Hello, dear, she answered like nothing was wrong, like taking my baby wasn't a big deal. Elaine, where are you? Where's Lily? I almost screamed, trying not to completely lose it even though I was freaking out inside. Oh, don't worry, we're just going for a little drive. Lily was fussy and I thought some fresh air would do her good. I could hear my daughter making baby noises in the background, which made me feel a tiny bit better. But I was so angry. You can't just take her without telling me. I'm her mother. Bring her back right now. My voice was shaking. There was a pause before Elaine spoke again with that know-it-all voice I hated. You know, Alexandra, motherhood is about knowing when to ask for help. You've seemed so overwhelmed lately. I'm just giving you a break. I didn't ask for a break. Bring my daughter home now, or I'm calling Daniel. And if you're not back in 30 minutes, I'm calling the police. Another pause. Fine. We'll be back shortly. I paced back and forth until they came back 45 minutes later. When Elaine walked through the door with Lily, she had the nerve to look offended that I was worried. There was no need for threats, she said, handing me my baby. I was only trying to help. I held Lily tight, breathing in her sweet baby smell, checking to make sure she was okay. Help would be respecting my boundaries as her mother, Elaine. She made that face where her lips get all tight. Well, I suppose I'll be going then. Tell Daniel I stopped by. After she left, something felt really wrong about the whole thing. Elaine had never taken Lily anywhere without asking first. And why was she being so sneaky about it? I called Daniel at work, trying to sound normal while telling him what happened. Honey, I'm sure Mom was just trying to help, he said, sounding tired. He'd been working super hard at his architecture firm. You know how she is. She probably thought she was doing you a favor. By taking our baby without telling me? Daniel, how would you feel if my mom did that? You're right. You're right, he finally said. I'll talk to her about it. But please, try not to make this a bigger deal than it is. Mom's been so happy since Lily was born. I bit my tongue to stop from yelling. This always happened with Daniel, always trying to keep peace between his mom and me, never seeing how manipulative she could be. Fine, I said finally, but it can't happen again. A week later, I was at the pharmacy picking up medicine when I saw Gwen, who worked at the local medical clinic. She was also in my prenatal yoga class before Lily was born. Alexandra, how's that beautiful baby of yours? She asked with a real smile, not fake like Elaine's. Growing too fast, I laughed. 7 months old and already trying to crawl. Oh, I remember those days, she smiled. By the way, I saw your mother-in-law at the clinic last week. Such a doting grandmother. My smile froze. At the clinic? With Lily? Gwen nodded. Yes, Dr. Mercer's office. I assumed you knew. Dr. Mercer wasn't Lily's doctor. We took her to a family doctor closer to home. Of course, I lied, my mind racing. Thanks for saying hi. As soon as I got to my car, I called Dr. Mercer's office, pretending to follow up on Lily's appointment. The receptionist told me there was no record of an appointment for Lily Barnes. That's weird, I thought. Why would Elaine take Lily to a doctor without telling me? And why would there be no record? Then a horrible thought hit me. Dr. Mercer wasn't just a kid doctor. His office also did paternity testing. No, she wouldn't. But even as I thought it, I knew it was exactly what Elaine would do. From the beginning, she had made little comments about Lily's looks. She doesn't really look like Daniel, does she? Or, I wonder where she got those eyes from. Certainly not the Barnes side. My hands gripped the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. Did my mother-in-law take my baby for a DNA test without my permission? The violation was so deep, so personal, that I started crying right there in the pharmacy parking lot. Not just the idea that I would cheat on Daniel, but the fact that she thought she had the right to investigate behind our backs, using our baby. I need proof, I thought. I can't accuse her of something this serious without being 100% sure. That night, after Daniel was asleep, I did something I'd never done before. I checked his email. We knew each other's passwords for practical reasons, but we respected each other's privacy. Still, I had to know if Elaine had gotten him involved in her crazy plan. There was nothing weird in his inbox, which made me feel better, but also more frustrated. If Daniel didn't know about this, then Elaine was doing this all on her own, which was even scarier. I checked our credit card statement online. No charges from any medical place. Of course not. Elaine would have paid herself. I was about to give up when I saw Lily's baby journal on the nightstand. I flipped through it, looking for anything strange. Tucked between pages was a business card for Accurate Family Testing, a private lab that did DNA tests. On the back was written, "Results ready Friday," in Elaine's perfect handwriting. My heart pounded like crazy. Today was Wednesday. In 2 days, Elaine would have the results of a DNA test I never said yes to, for a question that should never have been asked. I was so angry, but I also knew I needed to be smart. If I confronted Elaine directly or told Daniel right away, it would cause a family explosion that might be impossible to fix. Daniel loved his mom so much despite all her problems, and forcing him to choose sides almost never worked out for me. No, I thought. I need to handle this myself. I put the card back in the journal and crawled into bed beside my sleeping husband, my brain working overtime to come up with a plan. The next morning, I called in sick to work and waited until after Daniel left for the office. Then I called my friend Rachel, who was a family lawyer. "Rachel, I need some legal advice," I said when she picked up. "If someone took my child for a medical thing without my permission, what would that be called legally?" "That depends," Rachel said carefully. "What kind of medical thing are we talking about?" "A DNA test." Rachel was quiet for a second. "Alexandra, is everything okay with you and Daniel?" "It's not Daniel," I said quickly. "It's his mother. I think she took Lily for a paternity test without telling me." "Jesus," Rachel whispered. There are so many problems with that. First, taking a child without parent permission could be kidnapping, though with grandmas it gets messy if they had some kind of permission. The DNA testing itself, most good places need both parents to say yes or a court order. What about the results? Can I stop them from being released? If your name is on any of the paperwork, maybe, but if she pretended she had the right to do this, it might be hard. Do you have proof this happened? I told her about the business card and Gwen seeing them at the clinic. It's not solid proof, Rachel admitted, but it's concerning. Look, I could write a threatening legal letter to both the testing place and your mother-in-law. But Alexandra, you know this is going to blow up your family situation, right? There's no quiet way to handle this legally. That was exactly what I was afraid of. Let me think about it. Thanks, Rachel. After hanging up, I sat on the couch with Lily playing on her mat nearby, thinking about my options. The legal route would stop Elaine, but what would it do to my marriage? Daniel was stuck in the middle, and while I was sure he'd be mad at his mom, the fight would force him into an impossible position. Then I remembered something about Daniel's childhood that he told me once. When he was 12, Elaine had accused his best friend of stealing an expensive watch, only to find later that it had fallen behind her dresser. Instead of saying sorry, she doubled down, finding other reasons to ban the friend from their house. Daniel didn't talk to his mom for weeks after that, the only time he ever really stood up to her as a kid. Daniel hated false accusations more than almost anything. If Elaine's test showed what I already knew, that Daniel was Lily's dad, her baseless suspicion would hang between them forever. That's it, I realized. I don't need to be the one to confront her. The results themselves would do that for me. But first, I needed to know exactly what I was dealing with. I dressed Lily in her cutest outfit, fixed my hair and makeup to look nice, and drove to Accurate Family Testing. The waiting room was boring and plain, with dumb artwork and brochures about different genetic tests. At the front desk, I put on my biggest fake smile. Hi there, my mother-in-law brought my daughter in recently for a test, but she forgot which day the results are supposed to be ready. Name is Barnes. Lily Barnes? The receptionist typed something into her computer. Yes, we have a paternity test for Lily Barnes scheduled to be released tomorrow at 2 p.m. Mrs. Elaine Barnes is authorized to receive the results in person or by phone. Authorized by who? I wanted to scream, but instead I kept my friendly act going. Perfect, thank you, and just to check, what information will be in those results? Standard paternity test results compare the alleged father's DNA with the child's and tell the probability of paternity. In this case, since we have samples from the child and the alleged father, we'll provide a definite result. My blood went ice cold. They had Daniel's DNA? How? The receptionist must have noticed my face change because she added, "Is everything all right, ma'am?" Yes, I said quickly, just making sure we'll have all the information we need. Thank you so much. Back in the car, I tried to figure out how Elaine got Daniel's DNA. Then I remembered the family dinner she had 2 weeks ago, where she made a big deal about using the special occasion silverware and was weirdly insistent that Daniel use a specific water glass. She must have taken his DNA from that. How deep her betrayal went made me dizzy. This wasn't something she just decided to do one day. This was a calculated plan she'd been working on for weeks. I picked up my phone and called the one person who knew Elaine better than anyone. Robert, it's Alexandra. I need your help. Robert was Daniel's dad, divorced from Elaine for 15 years. They stayed civil for Daniel's sake, but they definitely didn't like each other. Robert had always been nice to me, often rolling his eyes at his ex-wife's dramatic behavior. What's going on, dear? He asked when I met him at a coffee shop an hour later, Lily happily chewing on a teething toy next to us. I told him everything, watching his face change from confused to shocked to angry. That sounds exactly like something she would do, he said finally, shaking his head. Elaine always had to control everything. When we were married, she once hired a private detective to follow me because I was working late. I was planning her surprise birthday party. I don't want to cause problems between her and Daniel, I explained, but I can't just let this go either. She violated our trust, our privacy, and used our daughter to do it. Robert thought for a minute. You know, Elaine has one big weakness. She hates being embarrassed. It's why our divorce was such a mess. Not the divorce itself, but the fact that people would know we weren't the perfect couple she pretended we were. So what are you saying? Don't confront her privately where she can twist the story her way. If you're absolutely sure the test will confirm Daniel is the father. I am, I said firmly. I hadn't even seen another man since meeting Daniel. Then let her get the results, but make sure you and Daniel are there when she does. She'll either have to admit what she did or make up a lie on the spot. Either way, Daniel will see the truth for himself. It was a good plan, but it still meant I had to tell Daniel about his mom's suspicions. That conversation would hurt him no matter how I did it. There's one more thing, Robert added. Does Daniel know about Jason? I tensed up. Jason was my ex-boyfriend from college, who had moved to our town last year for work. We ran into each other at a conference 3 months before I got pregnant with Lily, and I told Daniel about it right away. It was nothing, just a quick coffee between old friends, but I could see how Elaine might have twisted that innocent meeting into something bad. He knows we had coffee once, there was nothing to hide. But Elaine could make it seem suspicious, Robert pointed out. You need to get ahead of that story. He was right. If I waited until tomorrow when Elaine got the results, I would be reacting to her accusation instead of controlling the situation myself. Time for plan B, I thought. That evening, I made Daniel's favorite dinner, salmon with roasted veggies and chocolate mousse from the bakery he loved. I wore the blue dress he always said looked pretty on me, and I made sure Lily was fed and happy before he got home. What's the special occasion? Daniel asked with a happy smile when he saw the dining room table with candles. Can I do something nice for my hard-working husband? I gave him a glass of wine and kissed him. During dinner, we talked about his day at work, his new project, and Lily's latest baby milestones. I waited until we were relaxed, the plates cleared and second glasses of wine poured before bringing up the hard stuff. Daniel, there's something I need to talk to you about, and it's not easy. I took a deep breath. It's about your mom. His face immediately got that guarded look. What happened now? Last week when she offered to watch Lily, she took her out without telling me. My neighbor saw them leaving and texted me. Daniel frowned. I thought we already talked about this. I told her not to do that again. There's more, I continued carefully. I found out where she took her. She went to Dr. Mercer's office and then to a place called Accurate Family Testing. His forehead wrinkled in confusion. What are you saying? Your mom has arranged for a paternity test for Lily. The results will be ready tomorrow. Daniel's face went blank, then turned red with anger. That's crazy. Why would she? How do you know this? I showed him the business card from the baby journal and explained everything. My talk with Gwen, my visit to the testing place, even my conversation with his dad. I didn't want to tell you because I knew it would hurt you, I said, reaching for his hand across the table. But I also couldn't let her do this behind our backs. It's messing with our family. Daniel was quiet for a long time, staring at our joined hands. When he looked up, his eyes were sad but clear. I'm so sorry, Alex. I had no idea she would go this far. He squeezed my hand. What do you want to do? Relief washed over me. He believed me. He was on my side. I want to be there when she gets the results, I said. I want her to look us both in the eye when she realizes what she's done. Daniel nodded slowly. We'll go together, but let me call her first. I want to hear what excuse she gives for the test without letting her know that we know. He went into his home office to make the call while I cleared the table, listening to his side of the conversation. Hey, Mom. Yes, everything's fine. Actually, I was wondering if you'd like to meet for lunch tomorrow around 2. There's something I want to talk to you about. Great. How about that cafe near your house? Perfect. See you then. When he came back, his face looked grim. She agreed right away. No questions about why or what I wanted to talk about. She thinks she'll have the results by then, I explained. She probably sees it as perfect timing to show you her evidence. Daniel shook his head like he couldn't believe it. I still can't believe she would do this. What was she thinking? She was thinking that I'm not good enough for you, I said quietly. She's always thought that. He pulled me into a tight hug. You're everything to me. You and Lily. If Mom can't accept that, then she's the one who'll miss out. That night, for the first time in weeks, I slept really well, knowing that whatever happened tomorrow, Daniel and I would face it together. The next day, we got my sister to watch Lily and arrived at the cafe 10 minutes before 2 p.m. We picked a table in the corner that was private, but still where we could see the entrance. Are you ready for this? Daniel asked, his knee bouncing nervously under the table. As ready as I'll ever be, I replied, even though my stomach felt like it was tied in knots. At exactly 2:05, Elaine walked in. She saw us and came over with a warm smile that didn't reach her eyes. Daniel, darling, and Alexandra, I didn't realize you were joining us. Her tone made it clear she wasn't happy to see me. I thought we could have a family lunch, Daniel said, standing up to kiss his mom's cheek. We don't do that enough. Elaine put her purse down and sat down, sitting up super straight like always. How thoughtful. And where's my precious granddaughter today? With my sister, I answered. We thought it would be nice to have a grown-up conversation. Something flickered across Elaine's face. Disappointment? Annoyance? Before she fixed her fake smile again. Of course, dear. Well, shall we order? We made small talk through appetizers, talking about the weather, Daniel's work, and local gossip. Elaine kept checking her watch secretly, and I knew she was waiting for a call from the testing place. Finally, as our main courses arrived, her phone rang. She looked at the screen and said, "I'm sorry, I have to take this. It's important." She walked away from the table, and Daniel grabbed my hand under the tablecloth, squeezing it to reassure me. When Elaine came back, her face looked confused. She sat down slowly, staring at her plate. "Is everything okay, Mom?" Daniel asked, though we both knew exactly what call she had just gotten. "Yes, fine," she said distractedly. "Just some news I wasn't expecting." "What kind of news?" I pushed gently. Elaine's eyes shot to mine, suspicion flashing across her face. Then she smoothed her napkin on her lap and straightened her shoulders. "Actually, since we're all here, there is something I'd like to discuss." She turned to Daniel. "Darling, I've been worried for some time about certain situations in your marriage." Daniel got tense beside me. "What situations would those be, Mom?" "Well," Elaine started, her voice taking on that fake concerned tone that made me want to scream. "I happened to see Alexandra meeting with Jason Campbell several months ago. They seemed quite friendly with each other." So that was her plan. I knew she would twist my innocent coffee with Jason. "That was over a year ago, Elaine," I said calmly. "I told Daniel about it the same day." "Yes, but shortly after that you announced you were pregnant," she continued, not backing down. "And I couldn't help but notice that Lily doesn't really look like Daniel." Daniel's face hardened. "What exactly are you saying, Mom?" This was her moment of truth. She could back down or double down. "I'm simply saying that as your mother, I have concerns. It's my job to protect you." "Protect me from what?" Daniel's voice was really quiet, which was scary because he never got that quiet. Elaine hesitated, then seemed to make a decision. "From being tricked. From raising another man's child while believing she's yours." The words hung in the air between us. Daniel let go of my hand and leaned forward. "And what proof do you have for this accusation?" Elaine's confidence wobbled a little. "A mother knows these things, Daniel. I can see it in Lily's features." "That's interesting," Daniel said, "because I just got a phone call telling me that Lily is, without any doubt, my biological daughter. 99.9997% probability to be exact." Elaine went pale. "What?" "The DNA test you ordered, Mom. The one you had done by taking my daughter without permission, collecting my DNA in secret, and going behind both our backs. Those results just came in, didn't they?" All the color drained from Elaine's face. "How did you—" "No," I finished for her. "You weren't as clever as you thought. People talk in small towns. And you left evidence." Daniel pulled out the business card from his pocket and put it on the table. "What I want to know is why. Why would you do something like this?" Elaine's eyes darted between us like she was calculating what to say. Then her expression crumpled into fake motherly concern. "I was worried about you, darling. Alexandra was so secretive about meeting with her ex. And then suddenly she was pregnant. I just wanted to be sure—" "Stop," Daniel cut her off. "Just stop. There was nothing secretive about it. Alex told me about running into Jason the day it happened. We laughed about how boring he'd become." He turned to look at me, his eyes soft with love before hardening again as he faced his mother. "The only person being secretive and sneaky here is you." Elaine's lips got thin. "I was trying to protect you." "No," Daniel shook his head. "You were trying to find a way to drive a wedge between me and my wife. You've been doing it since the day we got engaged, and I've let it go on too long because I kept hoping you'd see how happy she makes me." Tears filled Elaine's eyes. Real or fake, I couldn't tell. "Daniel, please. Everything I do is because I love you." "If you love me," he said firmly, "then you'll respect my choices and my family. Alexandra is my wife. Lily is my daughter. They are my priority." "What are you saying?" Elaine whispered. "I'm saying you have a choice to make. You can accept my family as it is and be a proper grandmother to Lily and mother-in-law to Alex, or you can keep acting like this and see a lot less of all of us." It was a line in the sand I never expected from Daniel, who usually did everything to avoid fights. I felt so much love and pride watching him stand up for our family. Elaine dabbed at her eyes with her napkin. "You can't mean that, after everything I've done for you." "I do mean it. Daniel said, his voice softer but still firm. What you did crossed a line, Mom. You need to admit that and apologize to Alexandra. The cafe had gotten quiet around us, other people may be sensing the drama happening. Elaine looked around, aware of the people watching, and I could see Robert had been right. The threat of public embarrassment was powerful. I may have gone too far, she admitted reluctantly. Alexandra, I apologize if my concerns came across as an accusation. It wasn't a real apology. The if made that clear. But it was a start. I accept your apology, Elaine, I said nicely. And I hope we can move forward with more trust and respect. Daniel stood up, showing lunch was over. We're going to pick up Lily now. I think we all need some time to think about this. Elaine nodded stiffly and stayed sitting as we left the cafe. In the car, Daniel let out a long breath. I'm proud of you, I told him, reaching over to squeeze his knee. I should have set boundaries with her years ago, he admitted. I'm sorry it took something this extreme. Do you think she'll change? Daniel thought about this. Maybe not completely, but I think she'll be more careful about crossing lines in the future. She knows I'm serious. When we picked up Lily from my sister's house, I held our daughter close, breathing in her sweet baby smell and looking at her perfect little face. Her eyes, so much like Daniel's, looked up at me trustingly. I protected our family today, I whispered to her, without destroying it. In the months that followed, things changed between us and Elaine. She was more careful around me, less openly mean. She asked before taking Lily anywhere, even just to the backyard. It wasn't exactly warmth, but it was respect, and that was all I had ever wanted. Daniel talked to his mother every week, making sure she knew what he expected and thanking her when she made an effort. We started having Sunday dinners at our house, neutral territory where we could all interact without being in Elaine's space where she had all the power. Slowly, a new normal happened. Elaine still sometimes made comments that made me mad, but they were fewer and less often. And now, when they happened, Daniel noticed without me having to point them out. This whole thing taught me something important about standing up for myself. I had always tried to win Elaine over by doing whatever she wanted, by being the perfect daughter-in-law, but what finally earned her respect was setting clear boundaries and having the confidence to enforce them. 1 year later, when I found out I was pregnant with our second child, I was the one who called Elaine to share the news. Her response wasn't super excited, but seemed genuinely happy. Lily will be a wonderful big sister, she said. She has such a caring nature, just like her mother.